All right, we had just set up the proportion for this problem. And I was reminding everybody that when you cross multiply and there's an expression in one of the parts, you need to make sure that you put it in parentheses so you don't forget to distribute. Okay, now we're going to distribute. So 36x plus 108 equals 32x plus 192. And then we're going to solve that. I would recommend pausing the video so that you can solve it and check your answer. Remember, you may have done it in a different order than me. That's absolutely fine. Just make sure you're following the rules and you're good. And 84 divided by 4 is 21. So x equals 21. If it asked us what's the length of xk, we would just plug the 21 in, and same over here. All right, so similar means you write a proportion. Congruent means you set them equal. Read carefully the symbol so you know which one to do. All right, so for this next one, it says triangle PHS is congruent to triangle CNF. Find x, y, and z. This time I'm going to talk through it instead of using the color coding to see if that also makes sense to you. I'm going to find where my x is and go from there. So I see x over here. It's an angle H. So if I look up here at my congruency statement, I see H is in the middle. That means that this matches with angle N. I'm going to look at my other triangle, and angle N is 115 degrees. Corresponding parts are congruent, so we write an equation. Okay, go ahead and solve. All right, and hopefully when you checked your work, you got x equals 24. All right, it also tells us to find y, so I'm going to look for where my y is, and here it is, hiding in angle F. All right, angle F is the last letter, so we need to go to the last letter in the congruency statement. It's going to go with angle S, but if you look right here, angle S is actually empty. Remember that angle H is congruent to angle N, so I can actually say that this equals 115 and use the triangle angle sum to figure it out. 36 plus 115 is 151. 180 minus 151 is 29. So 3y minus 9, or 1, equals 29. Add 1. 3y equals 30, so y equals 10. And lastly, we also need to find z, because that's what the instructions say. These are congruent, so we're setting stuff equal. So z is hanging out over here in angle C for z minus 32. Angle C is congruent to angle P because they're both listed first in the congruency statement. Angle P is 36 degrees. So we write that they're equal. And solve. So z equals 17. Okay, so this problem was all about angles. The other one that we did on the top right was all sides, but in congruent, everything is just equal. That's it. The next one, again, is similar. We can tell by this symbol here. And remember, these similarity statements tell you what goes together. I just want to make sure everybody notices the two triangles. We have this triangle here, the small one, and they did tell us the name of the other one. It's this whole thing here. Okay? We're going to go with corresponding parts. So I'm going to look at DE. Remember, this is similar, so we set up a proportion. DE is 15. That's part of the small triangle. And the corresponding part to DE would be BC of the big triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that underneath. Okay, corresponding parts are proportional. And then I have my other part. So the other side of the small one is this 20. AD is 20. AD goes with AB. Well, how long is AB? Is it 8? No, that doesn't make sense, does it? This is where segment addition comes in. We need to add those together, and we can see that AB is actually 28. Okay, again, we're consistent. The smaller triangles on top, the bigger ones on the bottom, and corresponding sides go together. Cross multiply. So we have 20 times 2x plus 3 equals 15 times 28. I'm going to distribute. So 40x plus 60 equals 420. Subtract 60 from both sides. So 40x equals 360. Divide by 40, so x equals 9. Okay, hopefully you're starting to see when you do similar, you set up a proportion unless you're doing angles. When you are doing congruent, you do them equal. And lastly, these triangles are congruent. We don't have a picture. Obviously, I normally recommend drawing one, but I want to show you also how to do it without drawing it, just by using the congruency statement up here. Are you sick of the words congruency statement yet? Maybe, but they're important, so make sure you use them. We want to find the values of x and y. So here's our x on DF. DF, 9x minus 23, corresponds with JL. And hey, JL is right here. So we're going to put that equal to 7x minus 11. DF and JL are corresponding parts. Okay, solve for x. Don't just choose things and be like, hey, those would look good together. Actually use that congruency statement to tell you what really goes together, because that's kind of, super important when you're talking about geometry. All right, and let's see about how we can find y. All right, so y is over here on JK, 3y minus 21. So we need to find out what corresponds to JK. JK goes with DE, so let's look at our information. Hey, look, DE is 18. All right, and then solve. All right, that's it. I'm going to talk a little bit more since I have more time. Hopefully you understand, but if not, make sure you go back and watch more or come ask us questions. Remember, on this one, we're using those congruency statements to tell us what matches together. If we didn't, we may have set something equal to 23 when we didn't need to, okay? And just because we have a little time, I'm going to show you how you would draw a diagram for this. If we run out of time, we run out of time. All right, so this says triangle DEF, so I'm just going to draw a random triangle and name it DEF. And then we have another triangle somewhere else named JKL. Okay, using the congruency statement, I'm going to mark what's the same. DE with JK, DF with JL, and EF with KL. Okay, I know this is about sides, so I'm not going to mark the angles. We could fill in, or should probably fill in our information. So this is 18. This is 23. I'm not making it up. It's up here. DF is 9x minus 23. JL, 7x minus 11. And JK, 3y minus 21. Okay. And you can see how even if we had drawn that picture, we could have used it to match things up. 2 dashes and 2 dashes mean those are congruent. So we set up this equation. 1 dash and 1 dash sets up this equation. This is hanging out because we don't have any information about its partner over here. All right, good luck. There's a lot of practice on this available, so please make sure you practice so you get really good at it, and I will see you in another video. Adios.